All right, hey, this is Joe Carberry with Canoe and Kayak Magazine, and we're at the 2013 Canoe and Kayak Awards, and I am here with the legend, Rob Lesser, who will receive the Lifetime Achievement Award tonight. I don't know if I can even say that without you cringing, but how does it feel that people are recognizing your accomplishments this long after, you know, you had that the Stikine crown jewel of it all, but you've done so much more?
Well, I mean, basically, you don't get a Lifetime Achievement Award until you got some age behind you, and so that's the key factor that I have. It's an advantage over most of my competition. I'm not exactly sure who they are, but yeah, I'm just a little bit older, and no, the thing that obviously the Stikine is something that I'm most proud of, and the fact that it stood the test of time. It's 32 years later now since when we made our first descent in 1981, and still the younger generation is finding it to be, you know, an objective worth. It's a total challenge. It's kind of a benchmark to, you know, I don't know whether it's a merit badge or whatever. It's more than that.
Well, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I mean, this year was a pretty special year, actually. Ben Maher ran Site Z, and I mean that. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, it's now. I mean, as of last September, or actually in August, is when Ben had his run. I couldn't be prouder. I mean, in the sense, think of the numbers of people, the numbers of really good paddlers who have stood on the side of Site Z and said, "Hey, I know it's runnable, but it's you put yourself in at the top of it. At what condition are you going to come out at the bottom of it?" In 1981. When we first looked at it, we looked at it long and hard for 2 to 3 hours. And basically, it was like, yeah, well, we know you're going to, you know, if you're a log, you can get flushed on through there. But in reality, had we tried it, and we looked long and hard and finally made the decision not to, with all these ABC cameras set up and ready to go, and basically, had we tried it, our spray skirts were so under performance. I mean, as it was, we had spray skirts popping.
Meaning the technology hadn't come along yet.
Oh, the technology totally had not come along yet. And I mean, we had bungee cords sewn through on a neoprene skirt. I mean, they were. Well,
plus, you were using the boats you were using were way less mobile, I feel like.
Well, that to me, okay, we were in Mirages at that time, and quite frankly, you go with the boat that you know. That was all that was available. Yes, a new boat. There's been way better designs made, but it was not sluggish. I mean, we were very used to it. I mean, we were used to getting creamed, which is what that Rapid was going to do to you. And so the long and the short is 31 years. Everybody looked at it. And literally the best paddlers in the world. I mean, they came from everywhere. And Ben finally upped the ante and took a dive at it. And, you know, I think the one thing that was working in his favor, they had an extremely strong crew, and they had beautiful, gorgeous blue weather. You never get that in that area of the Stikine.
Meaning if he did have a swim, he could recover in the warm weather maybe a little bit.
Well, no, not that, but more the just the psychological, where, I mean, you are in it's kind of like going through the gates of Mordor. It is truly that sense. And I mean, it's dark, it's gloomy, it's usually raining, and it's cool, I mean, cold basically, 50 degrees or something. You just don't feel like it. You just go, well, what am I gonna do? Go out there and just get annihilated in this rapid and possibly swim? And it's a hellacious place to swim, but and I'm not saying, Ben is the creme de la creme. I have got so much admiration for his capabilities in this state.
The right guy to run the Rapid.
It was totally the right guy, and he stepped up, and he did it, and he had a very strong crew supporting him, and all of those things are important, but I'm surprised it took this long.
You get credit with the Stikine all the time, but nobody ever talks about the Clark's Forks box, which I think you were the first to get into. Hamathco, you know, there was a couple runs in Nepal. I mean, what other kind of like rivers do you look at that make you think, wow, I'm pretty proud of that one too, but no one ever thinks about it?
Well, it's one that everybody thinks about is the North Fork of the Payette, because I basically pioneered the upper sections of that and in 1977. And that has proven to be a very definite test piece and training grounds for all those things that come afterwards. Of other things, I mean, doing the Clark Fork of the Yellowstone was great. I'd have to credit Yvonne Chenard and Doug Tompkins with pushing. I mean, they basically were the ones that pushed the idea, and then John Watson and I and Reg Lake were part and parcel to making it happen. But and then the Brawl Do in Pakistan, and got to give credit to the Brits. That's their river. Basically, they were on it first. Mike Jones died on it. Basically, we went over there with Andy Embeck. It's actually he that did the permitting and whatever, but it was basically our crew of myself and Bo Shelby, Bob McDougall, and Kathy Blau Shelby, who provided the punch from a river running standpoint. Those are things I'm proud of, and just, I mean, in general, I've got to say I'm out there for the places. That I mean, who is going to? You may see the Brawl Do, or who's going to see the Clark Fork of the Yellowstone except a very accomplished paddler? Who's going to see the bottom of the Stikine except a very accomplished paddler? Those are special places on the earth in general that we had best feel blessed that we have a talent and a way, because those are the rewards, the places. They are truly spectacular. Look at the videos and the pictures that people are bringing back. I just looked at the wall of pictures over there. I'm just like blown away by what
the places they get to see because they paddle.
And also digital technology, which has allowed them to go in there with a great capability for a very high quality result, but it doesn't weigh 10, 12, 14 extra pounds, carrying.
These kids, they're so lucky.
Well, they are, but I am extremely envious of that. But I look at what the guys are doing in the upper Sierras, of all these waterfalls. Who knew about any of these places? Who knew that this was a possibility for kayaking in this day and age? It's technology and design, it's technology and digital stuff, and then it's the talent and the vision of today's.
To be able to get in there, yeah.
Well, to imagine, I mean, just to discover these places, and how do they even find them? And of course, many of these, they're doing 3-day hikes or a couple-day hikes with all that gear on.
Driven.
Yeah, they're very driven, but their reward is all that is encompassed, the beauty, the camaraderie of their fellow paddlers and all that sort of thing. It's a great time to be a kayaker.
Well, I think this night is to appreciate you, and we all appreciate what you've done, Rob, so congratulations, buddy. Yep, good job.